The all-new Skoda Superb is finally here, but I have two big questions to ask all of you. What has Skoda just done right here? The front resembles an oversized Scala. The interior resembles an Enyaq. The moment I saw the rear design, I instantly thought of something Japanese. Especially if you look at the pictures of the sedan version. I saw the rear design and I instantly thought of something Toyota or Mazda would usually do. And to make matters even more mysterious, Skoda has abandoned the trophy rear light design. You see, the design they had for the cycling trophy cup. The side view of the Skoda Superb looks rather evolutionary to the previous generation. A remarkable difference would be the employment of round edge designs to it. And secondly, does this make more sense to buy compared to the Volkswagen Passat? This Skoda Superb costs 57,000 euros. Now, this is proof that you don't entirely need a full-size SUV. You can still have a lot of space and small wheels at the same time, and something that's not a mini bus, because this is an estate version, and being an estate version, I assume you all know by now what this really means. This means you can literally camp in the back. Oh look! Luckily, you get this elevation right here. Now, in terms of practicality, be very careful. The body paint sticks out very proudly, so in long terms, this is not going to be good for your luggage. And this is very surprising because Skoda was known for its practicality. And now look at what has happened. Come on, Skoda. What is this? Why do you have exposed paint, man? And then the metal plating is good. Now, for the boot space, it is extremely spacious. In fact, to be fair, it's give or take similar to what I've seen of the Passat, but maybe slightly bigger, I'd say. And then obviously loaded with practicality solutions that are endless. So latches to fold on the rear seat, 12-volt socket as well. And then, additional storage space. Oh my goodness, I like the presentation of this. Oh my goodness. This is awesome. I'm really impressed. Get some underfloor storage space, and I assume this would have been for your spare tire. This is great, but it doesn't have any adjustable floor, so thank goodness you get a 360-degree parking camera with parking sensors at the front and at the rear. But there's a little problem I've noticed with Skoda in general, and that is, if you look at their front grille, they always have this thing going on underneath those grills. What is this? Now it's time to check out the interior of the Skoda Superb. Okay, first impression, it looked very much like an Enyaq. In fact, it does look like an Enyaq. Look at this. This is what I was talking about. Earlier, there was a time when Skoda had its own unique interior, and now they're just beginning to resemble each other. But then, to be fair, Skoda is not alone in this regard. BMW and Mercedes have gone down the same route. So, yes, it's becoming a common trend throughout the automotive industry. But Skoda has been generous enough to give electric seating adjustments to the driver's seat and seating memory as well, which are nicely presented. Everything is together at one place. That is logically laid out. Great. Now, for the rest of the interior, it's very evolutionary to the previous generation Skoda Superb. I like those 3 air conditioning swivel wheels you get right here. That's great, excellent. And you even get heated seats. Wonderful. I'm impressed. And then you get a central lock button right here next to the hazard lights, and those air vents right here that look discreet. They look very much blended with the design. I like this. Very nicely presented. And then look at the way they've done the air vents right here. Steering wheel. Now, which should be noted, the Volkswagen Group happens to have one of the best steering wheels ever. Nice size, nice feel, everything. This steering wheel is leather wrapped, but it's not very squidgy to hold on to, but it should be fine. It's a 2-spoke steering wheel, so you can even hold your wheel like this. Very nice. And this center cocoons you, sort of, to say. It's good. But it's not adjustable. The armrest right here is not adjustable. But it opens like this, like in a premium car. And you get this long bit of storage right here, which is quite narrow. Oh, Skoda, you're very organized. The central console is quite deep. It's good. Very practical for how a Superb has to be. And then, glove box. It's not as big as a box, but it should be fine. It's average for its segment. Now it's time to check out the moment of truth. Cup holders. Oh, the cup holders are just fabulous, as they have to be for a Skoda. Look at them. Practicality, solutions, never ending. Those minor details. Then in the other shutter, well, just underneath it, you get, I think that's supposed to be wireless telephone recharge. And you get 2 charging ports right there. Good. And then the biggest problem with the Volkswagen Group tends to be their window buttons. They give a lot of glory right here, a lot of beautiful materials, like those piano black touches and everything. You see, look at this area, it's wonderful. Then as soon as you look at the window buttons, you're reminded of budget. And then there's a cool feature. Every time you open the door, this interior ambient lighting becomes red, whereas for the rest of the interior, it just remains at its original color. Here is the mapping. The mapping is great, although the quality reminds me of what I've seen of Google Map. It's interesting. Now, I don't find it to be as interesting as that of BMW, but it does its job, and it's actually better than average. That's for sure. I can tell you. I like the sound it makes every time you touch it. And then to navigate your way around the map, it should be fine. Around the infotainment system. Navigation, climate control, all the details you need, great. It's good. I like it. It's even car status. Wow. And I forgot to mention that the gear stick is right here, next to the steering wheel. Very similar concept to what we've seen of the Volkswagen ID models. And of course, because this is a Skoda, you get this to scrape the ice off your window in the winter. And now over to the back seat of the Skoda Superb, where all the magic lies, because the back seat is probably one of the best things about these cars. The Superb and the Passat, but the Superb is super, because look at this. The back seat pocket is double, a small one and a bigger one. And then you get a detailed climate control right here. Great. And a handle right here with a coat hook to help yourself climb in. And a little cup holder right here. And then this little storage space to hold your book or to hold a paper or something. Great. That's amazing. I like the little details. And then it's good. And there's a little thing to hold your thing open right here. It's good. I'm impressed. And then there's a little ski hatch right here if needed. Oh, that's good. I'm impressed. So a lot of practicality solutions for the rear, nicely detailed. I like it. And there's even an extra coat hook on the B pillar. And then the door bin is good for its price and segment. The back seat is arguably one of the best I've ever seen for an estate wagon, and especially its segment, the D segment. So here's my conclusion of the Skoda Superb. When I first saw the Skoda Superb, I was stressing out. I was worried. The exterior design looked like it lost inspiration. It looked like a mishmash of various Skoda models. The rear looks very Japanese. It looks very generic. The interior looks like an Enyaq. But then as soon as you go inside, that's where all the magic happens. The boot space is one of the best I've ever seen. The back seat is one of the best I've ever seen. Loaded with practicality solution. It is endless. The front seats was great. In other words, this car is perfect for families. If you don't need an SUV, if you live within the cities and you just don't really need big wheels, this is the car for you. This is ideal as a company vehicle, which brings me down to the value for money aspect of things. For a price of 57,000 euros, this is great value for money if you're looking at it for a company vehicle, because don't forget this has a diesel engine, that too. And if you do a lot of road trips, perfect. But if you are not buying this under a company name, and if you are really looking for value for money in terms of equipment, there are questions about this Skoda Superb. And that too, when it comes to identity, the previous generation Skoda Superbs had a rich identity. You could actually relate to them. But this one looks like something like a mishmash of various things, really. And then from certain angles, it had me thinking of the Volkswagen Passat itself. And this is ironic because this makes more sense than the Volkswagen Passat. The Volkswagen Passat, the new generation that just released recently, the front had me thinking of a Golf for a second. So it's a bit of a hilarious thing that's going on right here. But then to be fair, the Superb is just living under the shadows of the big guns like the Skoda Kodiaq and then the Skoda Enyaq. So we will have to wait and see what becomes of the Skoda Superb. But what I can say right now is the practicality remains inside and it still maintains the superb charm in the context of practicality.